Welcome back everybody to another episode of the GC Informer. I am Snowy, otherwise known as Count Fracula, bringing you, I was about to say the latest gaming news, but there's not a lot been happening, so, one thing is a couple of days old, but let's get into it. I'm going to start with the old thing because it's still worth talking about. Cliff Bleszinski, Cliffy B of Boss Key and formerly Epic Games, actually formerly of both, has basically said he's never going to make a game again. And to a lot of people, that's a sad thing. Rightly so. I think whether or not you like Cliff Bleszinski's games, you can't deny the impact he's had on the industry, and to hear something like this is a little bit sad. A big player basically bowing out of the industry. But the way we found this out was in a tweet. Because everything's in a tweet nowadays. It was a response to a fan who was very annoyed at the fact he couldn't get a refund on Lawbreakers, because that's the terrible thing that's happened there. The studio shut down, people lost their jobs, but you can't get a refund on your game. Yeah, someone needs to get some perspective. Anyway, Cliff Bleszinski tweeted this: "I paid my employees their 401ks and their healthcare, even months after the studio folded, so that they could take care of their families. I didn't take a salary myself for 2 years. I get that you're sad, but God, this kind of shit is another reason that I am never making another game." Kind of a shock announcement, really. It might just be hyperbole, might just be reactionary, going, "I'm never making another game again," and then about 3 years later he's going to come back with something else. But yeah, it's a bit of a sort of out of the blue announcement to just be going, right, fuck it, I hate this industry, I'm out of it. But I don't blame him. I think the lessons he has been taught with Boss Key in general may not have, may not have sat well with him. He may not be happy with the industry as it is, which I wouldn't blame him. So if you're hoping for the next Cliff Bleszinski project, might wanna put a dampener on those hopes for now. So let's move on to Spyro. Well, not just Spyro, but Spyro's having a good week in the UK specifically. We're going to talk about here because its physical sales are really, really good. It has managed to top the charts in the UK for physical retail sales. Now, obviously, this is physical sales. Digital downloads are completely different. They are a massive part of the industry now. I believe it's just over half of game sales now are done through digital download. But yeah, this is the physical sales in the UK, and Spyro has managed to top the charts this week. In a week where we've had Fallout 76, we've had Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and a week that we've had Hitman 2. Yeah, Hitman 2. That has not launched well, Hitman 2. It's 10th in the chart, but if you compare physical sales to the last non-episodic Hitman game, it is down 90% compared to the first week of Hitman Absolution. Which, admittedly, the market was very different back then. It's 2011. But that's quite a lot. So anyway, yeah, it managed to beat out Fallout 76 though. That's quite impressive in and of itself, just for a little Spyro, which is a remake of 3 games, but maybe it says a lot to A, the nostalgia crowd, and B, the popularity of the Crash Insane trilogy, that people are going, oh holy shit, I want that thing. It does, however, come with a little bit of a caveat. The only reason it managed to beat the 2 Pokemon games is because there's 2 of them. If you count them as a single entity of game sales, then Pokemon wins out. But because Pokemon always do 2 versions at a time, unless it's the weird 3rd version that they sometimes, not always now do, it's getting complicated, isn't it? Anyway, then Pokemon wins. But regardless, that's really impressive in terms of chart performance from Spyro. I've actually bought both physical. I bought both Pokemons in physical form, and I bought Spyro physically because it was cheaper to buy it physically, because the PlayStation Store is fucking dumb, because it charges more for a digital download than if I went to Tesco or Asda and got a disc. Go figure! Just a quick note, this is going to tie into the next story though. We thought when Spyro was going to be delayed, that it got delayed by about a month or so, that it was going to be because they're trying to finish the Game 2 and Game 3 so that they could fit everything onto the disc. No, not to the best of my knowledge, because it still says on the box that the game will be downloading Game 2 and Game 3 from the PlayStation servers. Certainly seems like it did, because there was at least a 20 gigabyte download on my PlayStation when I put the Spyro disc in. That's a bit obscene, guys. I mean, what were you doing for the month that it was delayed, if not that? I don't know. Anyway, that's going to tie quite neatly into this story. Fallout 76, we're going to talk about that. And... ooh. This game has received a bit of a paddling from a lot of pundits this week, and I can't comment, I haven't played it, and I probably won't, it's not for me. But this is not what we're talking about, we're going to be talking about the fact that it's got its first major patch coming up, and it is 46 gigabytes. What the fuck, guys? Patch culture at the moment, in my humble opinion, is getting a little bit over the top, and this is very much exemplifying this, because game developers are very much now not taking into account the fact that customers might have slow internet or data caps. Admittedly, if you're playing Fallout 76, it's an online game, you're not going to want to be playing it with really slow internet. But still, 46 gigabytes to play Fallout 76 on a playable level. You'll need a decent enough internet connection, but you can still get away with it with a moderately, mid to low speed internet connection. And to download 46 gigabytes on that kind of connection is going to take a long time. That's a good sort of, I don't know, about a day's worth of download. I mean, for me, that is, I don't know, an hour and a half. For me personally, on my internet connection, to download 46 gigabytes on my PC, that's about how long it'll take. But yeah, patch culture is going a bit too far, I think, if we got to the point of 46 gigabyte patches. And this is a patch that's come out only about a week or so, maybe a couple of weeks after the game is released. Maybe just delay the game a couple of weeks so you can put this 46 gigabytes of bullshit onto the disc. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, maybe there's no way they could possibly have done this. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. That brings us then to the end of this episode of the GC Informer, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, and share whatever you fancy. And our social links are down in the description, with a link to our Discord as well. You can join in some lovely chat with us and members of our growing community. And of course, stay tuned to GameCast for news, reviews, Let's Plays, podcasts, great content all coming up. And I will see you soon for something else.